But this was only a temporary stage of nebular progression. The ever-increasing rate of whirling was soon to throw enormous suns off into space on independent circuits. And this is what happened in Andronover ages upon ages ago. The energy wheel grew and grew until it attained its maximum of expansion. And then, when contraction set in, it whirled on faster and faster until eventually the critical centrifugal stage was reached and the great breakup began. these people can write. 500 billion years ago, the first Andronover sun was born. This blazing streak broke away from the mother gravity grasp and tore out into space on an independent adventure in the cosmos of creation. Its orbit was determined by its path of escape. Such young suns quickly become spherical and start out on their long and eventful careers as the stars of space. Excepting terminal nebular nucleuses, the vast majority of Orvonton suns have had an analogous birth. These escaping suns pass through varied periods of evolution and subsequent universe service. In other words, this sun is a concrete chunk of the nebula. It is a sun because it is bordered for the first time by relatively empty space. It is an independent fragment of the nebula, still revolving around the nebular circuit, but it is going to be a sun. 400 billion years ago began the recaptive period of the Andronover Nebula. Many of the nearby and smaller suns were recaptured as a result of the gradual enlargement and further condensation of the mother nucleus. Very soon there was inaugurated the terminal phase of nebular condensation, the period which always precedes the final segregation of these immense space aggregations of energy and matter. And this is when Michael came out here. It was scarcely 1 million years subsequent to this epoch that Michael of Nebadon, a creator son of paradise, selected this disintegrating nebula as the site of his adventure in universe building. Almost immediately, the architectural worlds of Salvington and the 100 constellation headquarters groups of planets were begun. It required almost 1 million years to complete these clusters of specially created worlds. The local system headquarters planets were constructed over a period extending from that time to about 5 billion years ago.
By whom were they constructed?
The power centers of Orvonton. No. These architectural worlds are built by the universe power directors. These universe power directors can set atoms as a printer sets type. And I think they start with the core of this architectural world and they work outward, building around this core. I think Salvington was originally smaller than a tennis ball. As they began to put these atoms together, produce the first little tiny speck of matter, and then build on it.
And they did it from Uversa? Or
no, they did it right out here, working directly on it. And to me, the easiest way to look at this is to say, just like a printer has a font of type, so these power centers have got the dust of space to work with. And they reach out, let's see, we need some vowels now. So they go into the A box and they set a few A's. And little by little they build this out. It took them 1 million years to build Salvington. It takes a long time.
Considering all this.
Now, Salvington is a sphere, it isn't like Paradise, it isn't the...
Salvington is a round globe, probably a little flattened like our Earth. And it's made out of the same material that our Earth is made. Except, I think, they've used fewer of the heavy elements. Otherwise, the gravity would be too rough. I think the gravity on Salvington is much less than, let's say, the gravity of Jupiter. But Salvington might be as big as Jupiter.
Yeah, they don't have this kind of flesh and blood matter to
No,
deal with.
but they have oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, calcium on Salvington. The basic core of the physical sphere of Salvington is made out of exactly the same material as is this Earth and our Sun. Yes.
But as you go further in up toward Wonton and Uversa.
Uversa is made out of the same stuff as this planet.
Oh.
Yes.
Right.
All architectural spheres are built out of the same physical matter which they have in our Wonton. What else would they build with?
Is that what the term architectural means?
Yes. The term architectural means put together by hand. Yes. Non-evolutionary.
Uh-huh.
That's why there are no storms on these worlds. That's why there are no earthquakes. There is nothing out of balance.
They have some more elements.
The physical sphere has exactly the same elements.
Only 100.
Only 100. Now,
Where are the 200?
I think the Morontia life of a planet is confined to its surface. I think the core of the planet is purely physical. I think the Morontia life is a surface manifestation on the planet.
Is it organic chemistry?
It's organic. Well, on the surface of the planet, they elaborate 100 Morontia materials. But the heart of the planet, I think, is just as physical as your answer. You see, these, when the universe power directors built Salvington, they worked only in physical matter, the 100 elements. The second 100 elements, the Morontia elements, would not have been elaborated until the Morontia power supervisors began to operate. The physical power centers do not work with Morontia materials. When they finished with Salvington, they had a raw subdivision. And this raw subdivision was just as physical as it could be. There was nothing Morontia there or nothing spiritual there. Now, later on, when the Morontia power supervisors were created, they added to the surface of the planet that patina of the Morontia life, which is so important because you only live on the surface. Yes. The Morontia material no more penetrates a planet than does organic life penetrate this planet. It's strictly a surface phenomenon. Do you visualize this?
Yes, that helps a lot.
Much easier. I thought it was some substance that we didn't even
No.
know about.
Everything in our Wonton, every sphere in our Wonton is made out of these 100 elements.
The power directors, the power centers,
Yes.
with it. Then,
Later on, when Mike Gill first came to Salvington, this was strictly a physical spirit. And his creative spirit operated as a super power center. Prior to the creation of Gabriel, she worked exclusively in the physical domain. Shall I read you about that?
Yes.
yes, I...
All right, let's read about this. Let's stop here. Let's pause here now and consider. Well, let's read one more. Mike Hill arrived here roughly 400 billion years ago. 300 billion years ago, the Andronover solar circuits were well established, and the nebular system was passing through a transient period of relative physical stability. About this time, the staff of Mike Gill arrived on Salvington, and the Uversa government of Wonton extended physical recognition to the local universe of Nebadon. Mike Gill and the creative spirit were working out here with no spiritual staff. They were working as physical builders. Remember, Mike Gill is a son of the Universal Father, who is the source of paradise. This creative associate of his is the daughter of the Infinite Spirit, who is the God of action and who physically induced the creation of Havona. There is 100 billion years during which Mike Gill functioned in a totally non-spiritual way. He was a physical builder. During this time, his creative associate was functioning as a super power center. The Paradise Sons of the primary order are the designers, creators, builders, and administrators of their respective domains, the local universes of time and space, the basic creative units of the 7 evolutionary superuniverses. A creator son is permitted to choose the space site of his future cosmic activity, but before he may begin even the physical organization of his universe, he must spend a long period of observation devoted to the study of the efforts of his older brothers in various creations located in the super-universe of his projected action. And prior to all of this, the Michael son will have completed his long and unique experience of paradise observation and Havana training. When a creator son departs from paradise to embark upon the adventure of universe making, to become the head, virtually the god, of the local universe of his own organization, then for the first time, he finds himself in intimate contact with, and in many respects dependent upon, the third source and center. The infinite spirit, though abiding with the Father and the Son at the center of all things, is destined to function as the actual and effective helper of each creator son. Therefore is each creator son accompanied by a creative daughter of the infinite spirit, that being who is destined to become the divine minister, the mother spirit of the new local universe. The departure of the Michael son on this occasion forever liberates his creator prerogatives from the paradise sources and centers, subject only to certain limitations inherent in the pre-existence of these sources and centers, and to certain other antecedent presences and powers. Among the limitations to the otherwise all-powerful creator prerogatives of a local universe father are the following. 1. Energy matter is dominated by the infinite spirit. Before any new forms of things, great or small, may be created, before any new transformations of energy matter may be attempted, a creator son must secure the consent and working cooperation of the infinite spirit. 2. Creature designs and types are controlled by the eternal Son. Before a creator son may engage in the creation of any new type of being, any new design of creature, he must secure the consent of the eternal and original mother son. 3. Personality is designed and bestowed by the universal Father. You can't do anything about that. The types and patterns of mind are determined by the pre-creature factors of being. After these have been associated to constitute a creature, personal or otherwise, mind is the endowment of the third source and center, the universal source of mind ministry to all beings below the level of paradise creators. The control of spirit designs and types depends on the level of their manifestation. In the last analysis, spiritual design is controlled by the Trinity, or by the pre-Trinity spirit endowments of the Trinity personalities, Father, Son, and Spirit.
I have signed reference 358.
Let's continue, please.
Oh,
When such a perfect and divine Son has taken possession of the space site of his chosen universe, when the initial problems of universe materialization and of gross equilibrium have been resolved, when he has formed an effective and cooperative working union with a complemental daughter of the infinite spirit, then do this universe Son and this universe Spirit initiate that liaison which is designed to give origin to the innumerable hosts of their local universe children. In connection with this event, the creative spirit focalization of the paradise infinite spirit becomes changed in nature, taking on the personal qualities of the mother spirit of a local universe. Now, this paragraph here covers 100 billion years of local universe history. They said that very quickly. Let's consider also what it says on the evolution of local universes.
358.
That will be the reference. On page 357, it summarizes what we've just been through. The pre-universe manipulations of space force and the primordial energies are the work of the Paradise Master Force organizers. But in the super-universe domains, when emergent energy becomes responsive to local or linear gravity, they retire in favor of the power directors of the super-universe concern. These power directors function alone in the pre-material and post-force phases of a local universe creation. Now that's the span of history we've been just over, ranging from 800 billion years ago to 400 billion years ago. That's 400 billion years they worked all alone out here, before Michael came. There is no opportunity for a creator sun to begin universe organization until the power directors had effected the mobilization of the space energies sufficiently to provide a material foundation, literal suns and material spheres for the emerging universe. When it's all space gas, they can't build Salvington. And I'm sure Michael did not come here until Salvington had been prepared physically.
357.
357. The local universes are all approximately of the same energy potential, though they differ greatly in physical dimensions and may vary in visible matter content from time to time. In other words, you may apparently lose a little mass and you have a little more energy. You may have a little less energy and a little more mass. But the sum of the two is identical for each local universe, although either may vary in relation to the other.
But Bill, when you say local universe, you mean Salvington?
I mean, no, Salvington is the capital sphere
Oh, you're talking about...
of Nebadon.
Yes.
We're talking about Nebadon.
Oh, I see.
A 100,000 of a charge.
Yes. Each local universe contains 1/100,000th part of the basic power charge of the superuniverse of Orvantan. The power charge and potential matter endowment of a local universe are determined by the manipulations of the power directors and their predecessors, as well as by the creator sun's activities and by the endowment of the inherent physical control possessed by his creative associate. They're referring to her as a physical controller here. She has yet to become the mother of Seraphim. The energy charge of a local universe is approximately 1/100,000th of the force endowment of its superuniverse. In the case of Nebadon, your local universe, the mass materialization is a trifle less. Physically speaking, Nebadon possesses all of the physical endowment of energy and matter that may be found in any of the Orvantan local creations. The only physical limitation upon the developmental expansion of the Nebadon universe consists in the quantitative charge of space energy held captive for the gravity control of the associated powers and personalities of the combined universe mechanism. This means the linear gravity inherent in the mass of matter in Nebadon plus any additional control exercised by the governors of Nebadon, like Michael and the creative spirit and their associates. When energy matter has attained a certain stage in mass materialization, a paradise creator sun appears upon the scene, accompanied by a creative daughter of the infinite spirit. Simultaneously with the arrival of the creator sun, work is begun on the architectural sphere, which is to become the headquarters world of the projected local universe. For long ages, such a local creation evolves. Suns become stabilized, planets form and swing into their orbits, while the work of the creating of the architectural worlds which are to serve as constellation headquarters and system capitals continues.
Well,
Yes.
there's that 400 billion years too.
Yes. This business of building architectural worlds ended just recently in terms of comparative time. They began this 400 billion years ago. They built the last of them only 5 billion years ago.
Those are system headquarters.
System headquarters, yes. This means that some systems were started in Nebadon before the headquarters world of other systems even were built. Nebadon has been a full, all the architectural worlds of Nebadon have only been completed in just recent history. 5 billion years ago is small on this time calendar. Yes.
In fact, the Creator's Son and the Spirit were all here floating around before they had a world of miracles.
No, I think they built Salvington before they came.
Which is said here.
No.
Just said that with their arrival, work is begun. It's on the architectural here, with their arrival. So they have to stand around and oversee it.
That's right, you got a point. Simultaneously with their arrival, they began Salvington. You've got a good point, Helene. I didn't recognize that. The Creator Sons are preceded in universe organization by the power directors and other beings originating in the third source and center from the energies of space, thus previously organized. Michael, your Creator Son, established the inhabited realms of the universe of Nebada, and ever since has been painstakingly devoted to their administration. These power directors and energy controllers who long preceded the Creator Son in the preliminary work of universe organization later serve in magnificent liaison with this universe Son, forever remaining in associated control of those energies they had originally organized and circuitized. On Salvington, there now function the same 100 power centers who cooperated with your Creator Son in the original formation of this local universe.
Appear in fact and in completion, then through God the Absolute, we might understand God the Father as infinite. This tells me that God the Absolute will never complete his growth, because we will never understand. The Father is infinite. We'll merely grow in that understanding. The third section deals with the first source and center. I'm intrigued with the fact that they speak of the first, second, and third sources and centers, but there are only two sections in these papers which use those captions. They discuss the first source and center. Then I believe over in paper 9 they discuss the third source and center. You see, God the Father and God the Spirit are quite alike.